Hello, families. I'm Mr. Sanger, and welcome to AP Biology 2020 Pandemic Edition. This is no doubt going to be a very interesting year. So let's take a little bit of time. I'll tell you a little bit about myself and about the course, and we'll launch into it. Here we go. First of all, I actually grew up right here in Minnesota. I went to Mounds View High School, class of '95, go Mustangs. Um, and then I graduated and went to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where I majored in zoology, which was essentially a biology major. Um, I then made the hop over to Ohio, where I got my master's degree in teaching. Their mascot is the Buckeye. Yes, it is a nut, but it is a poisoned nut and therefore quite formidable. Um, After that, I ended up moving quite randomly to Colorado, where I got my first teaching job, and I taught biology and actually AP biology way back in the day. And then I migrated to Edina about 4 years later, kind of came back home, and I've been teaching here ever since. This is, I believe, my 17th year here at Edina, and along the way, I've taught general bio, enriched biology, and gen chem, enriched chem, human anatomy, and now AP biology. And this is my fourth year teaching AP biology here at the high school, in addition to 4 years in Colorado. So I'm quite happy and enjoying life right now. Um, I also got my national board certification in teaching in 2010, and that was renewed just a few years ago. So, what is it that your child is going to learn in AP biology? Well, biology is the study of living things. And so, here's a list of unit topics, and basically, we start with the very small and build to the very large. So, we begin with a brief review of chemistry, and your student definitely needs to have had a year of chemistry to be successful in this class. And then we kind of transition to the molecules that make up living things, the cells that make up living things. We look at how cells get energy, how cells talk to each other, how cells divide. Um, and then we kind of get into genetics and heredity and DNA and things like that. Um, and then we kind of round out the year by looking at evolution and ecology. Throughout it all, we are constantly engaging with the scientific process, sort of understanding how we know what we know, how do scientists collect good data, ask good questions, and that sort of thing. Um, I wanted to just kind of give you a sample essay just to kind of help make sure you understand exactly what your child is in for here. This is a sample essay from a previous AP Biology exam. And if you look at it and just kind of pause the screen, read the words, you will find it is quite intimidating. I'm not going to lie, I still start to cry a little bit when I go through this question. In fact, that's not even all of it. Here's a table, and then here come the questions. So I just want to be clear, this is a very rigorous, challenging, and demanding course because we're building up to this test. And the test really, it's not about memorizing a bunch of facts. It really is about applying what you know to a new and unique situation. So back in this picture, the students don't know what this Gaz-Derman thing is, or caspase-1. They don't know those things going into the test. Rather, they have to read the prompt, look at the picture, and apply what they know to figure out what's going on. So it really is a high level of thinking that is expected of these students. So how do I support your students in this task? And I should mention, how do I and my partner, Dr. Elizabeth Houts, who also teaches this course? Well, on Schoology, we have compiled quite a large pile of resources for you. So if you click on if you go to the Schoology page for AP Biology, you'll find a folder for every single unit. I'm choosing Unit 8, Ecology. And at the top of each folder, you will find a little file here called Essential Knowledge for each unit. This essential knowledge is, you could think of it like the objectives of a class. This is what a student needs to know and be able to do by the end of this unit. And so these are actually produced by the AP Biology people. And so I just sort of link them here. And so this sort of clarifies what is it that the student is supposed to know and be able to do. then to help kind of guide them through that process, we have this folder here, study guides, notes, and screencasts. So if you click on study guide, it will take you to a series of outlines. And you'll notice that there's page numbers in the textbook listed that correlate to each section of the outline. Now, below that study guide outline is a link to the slides for that chapter. The slides are basically just a PowerPoint presentation, but what I want to make clear is this outline follows, or I should say the PowerPoint presentation follows this outline exactly. And so the idea is we tried to sort of create an overview for the students to kind of see the big picture, how ideas relate to each other. So when they're going through this PowerPoint and looking at the notes, they can kind of put the pieces together and see the connections between them. So having these study guides out while taking notes is a very important thing. Below that, and this was kind of new as of spring last year, we are in the process of generating screencasts to go through all of these notes. So, you know, I haven't shaken the magic 8 ball in a few minutes, so I don't really know what's going to happen with this coming year, but we just kind of thought, you know what, these screencasts are going to be probably useful and important no matter what. So we're going to try and make screencasts so that in addition to having just the slides for the notes, you also have us kind of going through and explaining those slides. And we're still kind of in the process of figuring out how that will work with hybrid model if you're in school, out of school, but having these screencasts is a good thing, so we're cranking them out. So the next folder you see is homework and practice, and if you click on that, this is kind of what it looks like. And I just want to highlight that there is kind of a homework packet. It's a pretty comprehensive collection of questions. They're designed to be higher level application type questions. So not just, you know, define this vocabulary term, but use the term to explain something complex. And then after those assignments are due, we post the answers so that students can check and see how they did and get kind of a better explanation for questions they don't understand. So these answers are not available right away, but will be later on in the course. There's also some practice as well. So before each unit test, students are like, hey, how do I practice, get ready for this test? Well, we've posted a handful of practice free response questions from previous released AP biology exams. And so there's usually about 10 per unit so that they can practice writing essays in anticipation of tests. And then we've also got a series of practice multiple choice quizzes. These are automatically graded through Schoology. They're put together from the same test bank as our unit exams, and so the style of questions are very similar. And then by taking these quizzes, you get the answers and you kind of see how you did just electronically, which is great. So you know, there's a lot of resources here for helping students practice and work with the material. Finally, two other folders I'll mention, lab activities and additional resources. I don't have much to say about those now, but there will be additional information about labs and resources for those there. And then just additional resources are things like you know, videos, animations, other things that we've found that thought students might be helpful. And then gradebook items is really just for us. It's just kind of a organizational thing that we just kind of need to have. So there's a lot, you know, it's a challenging course, no doubt about it, but we really do have a lot of support both for delivering the content and for helping students practice and work with that content. And in addition to that, we're working like crazy to try and digitize as much of that as we can. So if you're a student in the Edina Virtual Academy, you have the resources you need. Even if you're hybrid, we're obviously going to try and do different things in the classroom when you're with us. But you know, if we have to shut down or if somebody's isolating, whatever happens, those digital resources are there. So we're doing our best. We're doing our best. You may be wondering, how can I help as a parent? Well, there's a couple things that I just like parents to sort of think about. One, focus on a growth mindset. If you've never heard of growth versus fixed mindset, I think it is very worth taking the time to Google a few articles. But this course challenges students. It really does. Many students who've been successful in school for years find themselves challenged in this student. And a lot of the students start to, you know, feel like, oh, I'm frustrated. Maybe I'm not as smart as I thought I was. Or, gosh, I didn't do as well on the test. Maybe I'm just not a good person and this isn't for me. I really urge you to push back against that kind of fixed mindset thinking and help them see, no, failure is an opportunity to grow. You will be challenged in this class, and that challenge is helping you become a better student. So really encourage your child to hang in there, and the way you talk to them and engage with them really makes a difference in how they think about their struggles. So I'd encourage you to do a little research on that and educate yourself on growth mindset. Another thing is make sure you're discussing life balance. Students really do. They need time for fun. They need time to let down. Every single year, I have students who've just taken on too much. And, work-life balance gets out of whack. And then they start to struggle with anxiety and stress and things like that. So, make sure their schedule isn't overloaded with really challenging classes and that they are in a good position to be successful in what I promise will be a very challenging course. As we know, oftentimes we have this very simple plan from point A to point B, but as 2020 has shown us, oftentimes the world has different plans for us. And so kind of building a little buffer zone for yourself so that when the unexpected happens, you've got some capacity to deal with it. That's a really good thing. Finally, boy, if you feel like making a donation, we could sure use hand sanitizer. And so, boy, make a Costco run. We'll take as much as you can get because, like I said, we're kind of venturing into unknown territory, and hand sanitizer, just like screencasts, is a good thing to have around. So that's all I have. I'm really excited for this year. I'm looking forward to just kind of figuring things out and doing the best we can. And I promise you, I'll work very hard to create the best possible experience I can for your kids. Thanks.